Ladies and gentlemen, EC3.
I've been fighting all my life for the man I am inside. I believe the plan for me is plain to see. A man of steel, a fast machine, my pockets full of cash and bling. Greatness is my only destiny.
I love this song. Hello everybody, my name is Nate the Great and you are listening to another edition of Bro Talk Wrestling here on Spreaker.com as well as YouTube, guys. It is Friday and it is cold and it is windy outside. Oh boy, quite a day that's going to be, but we are going to be talking about wrestling this week. Going to be talking about Impact Wrestling, major things that happened on Monday Night Raw, as well as FastLane predictions, and wrapping up big time with the, what was it again? Oh yeah, the best rivalries of 2009 going all the way to 2011, but let's just get right into it, no time to waste. Talking first off about Monday Night Raw. If you haven't seen it, go check out Turnbuckle Productions and look at the live reaction video that I was a part of with the Squared Circle podcast, Spencer, as well as Max. We got to witness a new champion be crowned in the annals of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens came out victorious in a fatal five-way, which is a very weird thing to say, I guess you could say. It's just one of those things that just doesn't come off right. But Kevin Owens became the Intercontinental Champion in the first match of Monday Night Raw. It should have been the main event, but I'll get into that more in a little bit. He defeated Tyler Breeze, Stardust, Dean Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler in a big-time great matchup to kick off Monday Night Raw. And Kevin Owens would go on to talk about, hey, I am the champion, I'm the champion. Dolph Ziggler would come up to him and say, hey, I know that you don't have an opponent for Sunday. How about you and me? We lock horns one more time. And Kevin Owens just said, nah. So, even though he said nah, they made the matchup official. It will be Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler this Sunday for the IC title. A lot of people are not that really keen on this idea, but the thing is that I think that match is just going to be one of those matches that really starts the show off right, or it is going to make it that much more, better, because honestly, they do have great ring chemistry together. They definitely do have some great matches. I do know that they do it frequently, but at the same time, at least it's something different. It's not like it's, John Cena and Randy Orton, 927,000. You get what I'm saying. But I'm still looking forward to seeing that matchup, and I'm looking forward to seeing how FastLane turns out. But I'm going to get to the FastLane predictions in just a bit. I actually just pulled up the song because I figured, it is a good song, but it also brings a very interesting point. Paige went one-on-one with Summer Rae this past Monday, and she actually lost to Summer Rae, and it was a complete shock for me, because here's the way I say it. Unless they are planning on doing something with this whole Summer Rae and Paige thing, or unless Paige has been, pissing off somebody, there's a very interesting deal to where people are thinking, well, what's going on? What's going to be the outcome for this whole deal with Paige and Summer Rae? Why did Paige lose? Did she lose because she pissed somebody off? Did she lose because it's part of a storyline? What's going on? Because I just don't understand. Unless they're doing something with Summer Rae, which I highly doubt, it just seems kind of like a pointless victory for her. But again, maybe we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll see how things go. But enough about that. For the most part, I'm going to have the Monday Night Raw deal. While I talk about one more thing with Monday Night Raw, they had the main event be Braun Strowman versus The Big Show. And why? It was one of those moments where you could see what was going to happen a mile away, and it's just one of those things it just got frustrating. I mean, you could tell that during the very last few, 10 minutes of that live stream, we were just ready to fall asleep. It was just really one of those moments where the match just could not get into it. You could not really think, oh, well, this is going to be an exciting matchup. No, it's just one of those things where it was like, okay, it's a main event matchup, but why? Because we already know what's going to happen, and it did happen, where Ryback came out, and then Kane came out, and it set up for an 8-man tag, 6-man tag, I should say. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, is there really any point to this matchup? Excuse me, I kind of just woke up, so I might be yawning every here and there, but so we talk about that, and then you talk about, this past Thursday night on SmackDown, where they had the main event be Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the Dudley Boys, but Brock Lesnar came out and he F5'd Roman Reigns, suplexed Dean Ambrose, and the match in and of itself was okay, but I think that it was a great setup for a FastLane and what things were to come. And also, they've really just been pushing the possibility of one of the people turning heel, meaning either Dean Ambrose or Roman Reigns. And I'll give you my predictions on that coming up on the FastLane predictions deal. But one other thing that I wanted to talk about as far as the whole main event deal with Braun Strowman and Big Show was that I would have booked it a lot differently, just because it would be better to have if they were to have if they would have had one more extra thing actually get involved, then I think that this matchup would actually be a little more highly anticipated, and I'll explain what I mean. What I mean by that is that if they would have done exactly what they did, but added The Undertaker to that deal, I think it would have saved the matchup just a little bit, because, hey, you got The Undertaker in the matchup, you got him teaming with his brother Kane again, but you would also have the possibility of Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker facing off one more time, where Bray Wyatt actually gets the pinfall victory over The Undertaker. I think that would be what's best for business. I think that would be better, because finally you would get Bray Wyatt some momentum going into WrestleMania, because we know he's going to be going to face Brock Lesnar at Mania. That's just basically the writing on the wall right now. You can't say oh, that's not going to happen. Yes, it is. It is going to happen, and I am not a fan of the idea of it just being one-on-one, unless it's a no disqualification, a street fight, or something like that. It's better to have that be, a 4-on-1 elimination handicap match, which, sees Brock eliminate Braun Strowman, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and then lose to Bray Wyatt. Because, like I said, it would work better to see Bray Wyatt finally get that big-time victory, and then also Bray Wyatt would get his victory, plus Brock Lesnar would still look like a beast. It's one of those things where it's okay, it works. Trying to get the Impact results up, but I think the results are not even showing up right now. Alright. But basically what happens at TNA Impact this past week was that they really set up the lockdown event that they're having next Tuesday, and very interestingly enough, Lockdown I think is a little early for this year, but I guess they're rotating the pay-per-views around here and there, but not much you can really do about that. So, just going to kind of give you a little bit of what happened on the the Impact show. They had the Monsters Ball for the tag team titles, in which we saw DK, Abyss, and Crazy Steve teaming up against the Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Dave Richards, in what was a great matchup, and we saw them they just tore the house down with that matchup. It was a great match to enjoy, to watch, and it was something that a lot of people really should definitely take a look at, and we're going to be interested in seeing how things go. They had Mike Bennett in action against Mandrews, in which he came out victorious with the kind of a modified Samoa driver, or like a miracle drop, whatever he wants to call it. He calls himself the Miracle for TNA, so very interesting persona. But it's one of those things where it's just like, oh boy, I am not going to like this guy. But Mike Bennett was beaten up on Mandrews until Drew Galloway made the save. And I know that they're going to be going into a program with Drew Galloway and Mike Bennett. I'm looking forward to that. And honestly, I'm hoping that with the Feast or Fired case that they have for Drew Galloway, that he becomes the first to cash it in and win the title. I think that it's long overdue that somebody's actually won the world title that way. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, going to go into the lockdown. Oh, wait. I think I actually have the... There we go. Alright, there we go. So now I'm starting to get the Impact results from this past Tuesday. So, let's see here. Talk about... Okay, Dixie EC3 coming into... see, EC3 coming out to a... Talk about the lockdown rematch that he has with Matt Hardy next week. Open challenge for the King of the Mountain Championship. Eric Young challenged anybody in the crowd. And Storm was actually the one that accepted the challenge, but it ended in a double countout. And they're actually setting up Beer Money versus Bram and Eric Young next week in a, I guess, some random tag team match that they're putting in lockdown. It is what it is. Talking about the tag team titles, which I already did. Gotta go all the way down. Alright, so they had the Dollhouse taking on Madison Rayne and Gail Kim. And it wasn't until Madison rolled up Marty Bell for the win. After the match was over, Dollhouse continued to beat down on Gail and Madison until Velvet Sky made her return, and she made the save. She actually did a really interesting combination in which she actually hit a stunner and a DDT at the same time on Marty Bell and Jade, and then she made the challenge for a 3-on-3 lethal lockdown knockouts matchup. And honestly, I'm kind of interested in seeing how that goes. But it's going to be one of those matches where I think it might be a little too much, and I think it might not work. I think it would work better if they had one more person on each team. But, here's the issue with the Impact roster is that they still don't have that much in the way of superstars and star power, wrestlers and star power. And I'm not trying to say that as an offensive deal. I'm just saying that they had so much potential. They had so many different, athletes and so many different wrestlers for years and years. And now their knockouts division is just dwindling down to just, the Dollhouse, the Beautiful People, and Gail Kim. Unfortunately, Angelina Love is probably still out. And the Dollhouse is just not over as well as they could be. And Gail Kim, she just could face every other random person, every other week. so not really giving